All right, how you doing? My name is Johnny King, and I'll be your instructor for this video. I'm going to get into one of the greatest topics that people usually want to know, especially when you're talking about being a security guard or armed guard, personal protection officer, SRT, security response officer, um, anything that has to do with security or private investigation, bail bondsman. These courses pretty much entangle themselves together. Our topic today is going to be use of force. That's pretty much what people want to know what I can do as a security officer, what I can't do based on that level. Um, because being a security guard, there are different levels and there are different things that you can do overall. It's a broad topic. Um, but we're going to focus on this use of force just for this duration of this video. Pretty much when you're talking about use of force on a security level, uh, there are five levels which we're going to get into. The first being officer present. So pretty much when a person enter into a building, most likely the first thing or the first person they're going to see is a representative of a security nature for that business. They're either going to be in a guard capacity as a standing guard, watchman, or they're going to be as a reception clerk type of um, environment or position, however you want to use that. So if they're pretty much there sitting down at a desk there at a reception clerk type environment, usually it's an overwatch. Depends on if they have cameras in their area, or it could be like a door person, someone who's there monitoring the interests of the business as they're coming in to answer any question of clients or customers coming through the door and leading them to the right direction. So pretty much they have an access control uh, position or duty that they have to do. But now if you take that into where there's a situation going on and that guard come there, so that use of force or that same scenario would change because that officer would be there in a controlling capacity. There'd be the first person or the next person that they see if the incident had happened. The officer will appear on that scene, and as his appearance there, hopefully his appearance will de-escalate that situation. If that doesn't go as planned, and the people are so into what they're doing and causing chaos to the point that they cannot see the officers there. Maybe they're in distracted tunnel vision that they can only see what's right there in front of them. So now the officer has to go to level two, and now there has to be verbal communication given to the individual so that they can de-escalate in the situation and it won't go any farther than that. Normally, it takes a few minutes to get an individual out of their position, especially when they're yelling, screaming. They don't care what's going on around them. They're just focused on what they got going on with the other person. I guess the language that they're using now, they're beefing with each other, uh, which means that they're arguing or they're causing problem or however you want to classify it as an argument between one uh, one another or two or more people. Usually, that doesn't do it. Some people will back down and apologize, and they will leave. Uh, but other people will look at you, and then they will throw that anger on you. Cause usually, like, who are you is going to be one of the questions, and what you got to do with this. You ain't nobody. This is between me and them. When you get an individual saying those type of words, then it's time to take it up a notch to try to get them to move on by using verbal judo and start make sure that you hopefully by the time that you approach these individuals, you make contact. Hopefully you got your body cam already rolling. Maintain professionalism. Do not use curse words. Do not use anything derogatory, racist, discriminating. uh, it doesn't matter how they look, how they dress, their appearance in the dress, whether it's man, woman, child, or anything of that nature. Keep your comments to yourself. Keep your language to yourself. Be professional in everything that you do because that video could be part of your evidence, be a major key in your note taking, me be one of the best tools that will keep you out of liability and $1 million lawsuit if you maintain control, stay calm, be polite, document what you got going on. When you making the notes or making an approach, and when you're documenting what you did as part of your use of force program, um, if the situation come to um, what's the word I'm looking for? If it escalates beyond your officer present or using verbal judo, pretty much you're gonna have to get into using empty hand techniques, um, trying to open your arms up. Can you all just move to this direction over here? Try to get them off your jurisdiction. Try to get them to get back into their vehicles and move this to another location beyond what you got going on. Uh, Try to explain to the individual uh, what their options are. Pretty much what their options are. You want to let them know, hey, if you continue this here, local Leo is going to have to get involved. Sheriff department going to have to get involved. Police department has to get involved. If you're in an area where they have marshals, U.S. marshals, or parish marshals, however the individual are, depends on what area you are, what jurisdiction you are, what country you're in, what jurisdiction that your contract falls under. If it's federal, government, these different areas. Normally, if these individuals have warrants, bench warrants, they have charges pending, they're on probation, they don't want to stick around. But if you got these individuals that are impaired, intoxicated, on drugs, uh, whatever the case may be, then those are the ones that's pretty much just going to give you a little bit of problems before they try to move on. Normally, if you give them breathing room, they will move on. If not, then you're going to have to go into uh, steps that, depending on what the situation is, there can be steps that is going to cause you to have to get into hands-on, and that's pretty much you're going to have to use hand locks, get an individual to move on, take down, take them into custody, detaining until law enforcement get there. Now, the problem with going hands on with a suspect, if the case escalate to that level, my thing is I never try to escalate to that level because I have an option. Before I put myself into that liable situation, I try to get law enforcement en route because they can take control. They can get there. They can have a portion of that video when they see what's going on. When they pull up, 9 out of 10, any other problem that you're gonna have, it's gonna be eliminated for that night when they roll up. 9 out of 10, on some nights they're not doing anything anyway. Your call for assistance might be the light of the party for them. Usually after they come and the situation is over, they hang around for at least about a good 15, 20 more minutes. So your site is secure once they get there. It's a plus plus and a win win for you. Winner winner chicken dinner. That's how I see it. Uh, we try to collaborate with each other. We try to talk about what happened, share information. 9 out of 10, they're getting information that you're gonna need anyway. So try not to always escalate and put yourself in danger, especially if you're a one man, you're a lone wolf at some of your locations. Don't try to be the Billy bad person, Stay in your lane, do your job, write your report. Don't try to start trouble. Always have a good day. Always have a good night. Go home to your loved one. Start over again the next day. But if the incident do take to the level where lethal force is authorized, know your laws before you do anything. Normally, your company will not put you into that situation if you don't need that. They will not authorize you to be armed if that contract does not need to be armed. Most security companies make their bread and butter based on dedication